There, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is You Are Forgiven. I was just at the mountain, and I was actually doing this prayer that I often do, in which I forgive all beings and all lifetimes and all multiverses, and I send into the web of creation complete forgiveness for all acts, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, for all lifetimes, for all beings. And I do that because as a medicine person, I find often the medicine that is most needed in the paradigm is forgiveness. And forgiveness can sometimes be misunderstood. Why would I forgive somebody that assaulted me, somebody that betrayed me, somebody that lied to me? You said you were my friend. You're my family. How can you treat me this way? Why would I forgive them? They don't have permission to treat me like this. La, 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 la. I hear you. 100, I hear you. Yeah, I love the self-advocacy that can sometimes come out of a difficult hour in which we can recognize, hey, I desire respect. I desire respect. And I feel you. I agree. And we're in a dualistic realm. And if you think about yourself right now, have you lived a life at 100? Have you always expressed the light of love, the light of truth, the light of compassion? To me, the truth, your authentic truth, from Heather Feather, always viably wrong because I'm a clown, but the light of truth to me is that you are love, and everything is love. And everything else are the stories we tell around false evidence appearing real. And because this is quantum waves of probability collapsing into particles before our very eyes based on the consciousness of the two-legged and the prize of their mind and how they're telling the quantum waves of probability to show up as the particles of experience, it's really important what we choose to chew on in our mind. And I myself, when I look at how Heather's walked in the world, I have failed myself many times. And I tell the allies, I tell my ancestors, I tell the divines, please forgive me my transgressions. Please forgive me my failings. Please forgive me. There are a lot of weird things I've done in the world because I'm much shyer than people would ever know or assume. And I can do really weird stuff. I can do the opposite of what I want to do sometimes because I feel, oh my gosh, I don't want to embarrass that person. I'm like, whatever. Sometimes I don't even do what I actually want because I can feel so insular. I don't know how to, in the moment, behave in a more extroverted way in response to whatever's presenting itself. I had an intense experience of that in California that I still think about, that I'm just like, oh, I wish I had chosen differently. And I did not. I did not choose the dance. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know how to take the person's hand. And so I have to forgive myself that transgression against them. I didn't want to make them look foolish because I don't really know how to dance with another person. And I really wanted to dance with them, but I didn't. It's like, if I take your hand, I'm going to make us both look dumb, and I don't want to do that to you. And I have to forgive myself for not being developed in my character enough to know how to do the thing that can make everybody look foolish and just join the party and have fun anyhow. I had spent too much time in my life not being part of the group, And so that's something that I stew in, that when I remember it, wanting so much to take someone's hand to dance with them and not being able to do it, I sometimes can really lament all these years later, and I have to still, I forgive you. May they forgive you the transgression of your fantastic strange. May all be forgiven. There are bigger ways that I would say I fail myself that I've talked about. I, in my early 20s, had an affair and lost my marriage. And that is the most egregious crime I've ever committed against another human. And what that experience gave me is an understanding that continues to develop because we just learn on topics. Life gives us resplendent opportunity to kind of evolve on topics that obviously interest us. And so one of the topics that interests my spirit, obviously, is devotion, monogamy, loyalty, being your word, but also freedom and sovereignty and owning your own beingness, and how those two things can marry together in a healthy way So you can have communion or come into union or come into partnership with another in which your freedom and sovereignty and individual expression are honored, but you also are able to be, loyal and committed. And so that's a topic Heather Feather has flirted with in this lifetime. And I have had a very painful lesson. It was to this day, it's very hard for me to forgive myself. How could I betray my beloved? And sometimes I think I remain single because it's like, I don't know if I deserve it. I was stewarding it and I didn't steward it well. And so I sometimes wonder if I manifest me remaining single as almost like a punishment. It's possible because I know the laws of manifestation. I know the laws of creation and co-creation. And I know how to open gateways to let someone in that could actually be a healthy partnership. And I don't do it, interestingly. And I think it does stem from these types of failings. How could I not take the hand of the person of which I want to dance? How could I fail the beloved? Those are the things on which I lament. And as they happen in my mind, because they happened in my paradigm a long, long time ago, I have to remember, first of all, I am a very loyal woman today because of that experience. And although I will continue to pray for the person that I transgressed against, my ex-husband, he's doing quite well. He has a successful business. He's married. He has a kid now. And I prayed that for a long time. I'm glad that he manifested that in his life. And I pray that he continue to have graces. And I pray he'd be able to forgive me. And I pray that I'd be able to forgive myself because I'm having a human experience. And a human experience is a fallible experience. And no matter how much integrity, no matter how much truth you love, no matter how much you may choose to be love in the web, because Heather every day wakes up and focuses on, my intent is to be love informed this day with all aspects of life with which I engage. And sometimes love informed does look like a more bitter medicine. It's like, my love informed includes me. So I'm not going to necessarily cater to this self-deprecating frequency. Sometimes it's interruptive. So love looks like a lot of things. It's not necessarily always this gentle breeze of a thing. It sometimes can have a gusty wind behind it in its offering. And I forgive myself. Like every day, I've been working long days from morning until night, every day. And every day throughout the day, I do take a break to go to the mountain. But other than that, I'm just working. I do put my hand on my heart throughout the day and just say, I love you. I love you. I forgive you. How often do you forgive yourself? How often do you take a minute and just, I love you. I forgive you. I forgive you. You're allowed to be human. All kinds of ideas of experiences of the days of yore go through this nugget of mine. I'm very self-analyzing because I like to evolve and I want to evolve. And in order to do that, I have to take responsibility for my failings. I have to go, I failed this person, and I failed that person, and I failed that two-legged, and I failed that stranger. I just got cheesed off and freaked out. Had a freaking meltdown. And so usually if I have a meltdown with a two-legged in this world, I go home and I pray for them and I pray for their grace and I pray for their family and I pray to be forgiven. And I pray that I forgive myself the transgression because I have a daily intent of being love informed. And I fail myself because I'm having a human experience. Do you forgive yourself for your own transgressions? Have you failed your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your family members at all? Have you failed your lover, your beloved, or a lover in the past, a beloved in the past? When you were stuck in the hubris and ignorance of youth, you know what I mean? Before you had enough life experience to understand certain virtues and why you would choose to walk in those shoes. Have you forgiven yourself? Have you forgiven yourself? What weighty thing do you hold locked in shame within your being that is imprisoning you? And is it time to forgive yourself too? I spend time not only forgiving all lifetimes and all multiverses, which I welcome you to join me in, because I think we need more of that energy in the frequency called Earth School, and we can shake it into the web with our attention and intention to have the waves of probability collapse into particles that are forgiven in the living tree, that we might get back to the love that we be. You see, we need to forgive because we judge, and we judge the self and we judge others, and that's okay too. It's part of the design. And I know my work is never to judge, and so I really try to pay attention to when I'm judging myself, when I'm attacking myself, when I'm judging others. And I try to hand a gentleness to me where I might be self-flagellating or self-punishing internally because I expect excellence from myself. physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I expect excellence. I expect myself to eat the healthy foods, to do the exercise. I expect myself to be a human and have cake and have ice cream and do that too, but to not get lost because I know what to do to have optimal wellness on the way to the grave. And I don't want to self-destruct just because it's one of the ways I can express freedom of choice. Look, I'm so free I can drag myself to the grave. It's like death coming anyhow. It really doesn't need your help. But you can, you know. So I work to ensure that I'm bringing balance and bringing wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But what that means for me is I'm spending a lot of time forgiving myself, because usually the thing that's causing dis-ease, the thing that's causing crystallization in the body where we need energetic movement, the thing that I see as a medical intuitive, as a psychic surgeon, as somebody that works with people on the inner levels to bring healing to the physical dense matter level, is there's usually a great level of forgiveness of self that is needed. You're having a human experience. I forgive you. You're forgiven, whether we've met or not. I forgive anyone that's transgressed against me, whether I've perceived it or not. If we've engaged and you feel you are forgiven, you have been forgiven. I have, and if I believe you transgressed against me and I've thought on that thing, I've forgiven you every time it's come to mind. Forgiven. Great Spirit, please hear me. They are forgiven. As they stand before you, may they stand with my forgiveness surrounding them and you. Know that they are forgiven, right? And so I'm able to extend it really well to the world. I'm able to extend it to those, not always in the moment. Definitely people can do things that, as a medicine person, as somebody that is intentionally walking an antidote, I can, like a galactic mirror, flush up what needs antidote. Oh, look, there's your poison. You know what I mean? There it is. I'm like a galactic mirror. There's where the medicine's needed. Aha. My job is to be a non-judgmental witness, the light of love witness of people as they find that which needs antidote, and to not be in judgment of anyone in the paradigm. And so I can extend this great layer of forgiveness. Like I said, not sometimes in the moment when someone's cheesing me off, but I often leave experiences and I pray. I pray for their family. I pray for all that they hold dear. I pray that they be blessed. Like, if I behave in an ugly way towards any entity, I've prayed for you. I have prayed for you. And if you've behaved ugly towards me, I prayed for you. You know what I mean? What I sometimes forget to do is to pray for me and to forgive me. So one thing I'm asking you to do today, because I'm asking myself to do this often, what are you ashamed of? What are you ashamed of? You know, it's really hard for me as a medicine person. Sometimes I work with people towards end of life. I work with a lot of elderly people, and sometimes I work with people that are dealing with very dire circumstances. And although I am not the commander of life and death, and I don't have any delusions of grandeur about that, it is painful. It is hard for me as a medicine person to be working with someone and they exit. That does happen sometimes. And I have to forgive myself for being human. You know what I mean? And remind myself, like, you are not the commander of the gateway of life and death, Heather. You're not here to fulfill people's life contracts. You know, you were here to serve to your capacity in those final hours, and that's what you were doing, my dear. So I forgive you for it not looking the way your ego thought it was going to look. And you did, you were yourself and your best and highest offering. I'm always ashamed when I offer something other than love, or when I'm being less connected, or there's lots of reasons I can do that. I can be very shy and very weird, and I can do a lot of things that are actually very counter to what I actually seek or want. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And I really work as I age to more and more be more intimate, be more authentically loving, be more to offer love and form. And there are circumstances in this year where I've learned I had to kind of create space or more boundary or distance from those that I'm not your medicine person, you know. Just because I'm a medicine person doesn't mean that I'm necessarily, I may pray for all beings, but I'm not necessarily in each moment of now supposed to intimately serve each being that walks into my life. Sometimes a being is walking into my life so that I can forgive the need that I have to create space from that which no longer serves me, because I've evolved beyond sitting in certain negative frequencies that I don't choose. Is there anything you'd like to forgive yourself for of which you hold shame? And is there anyone in your river of your life that you'd like to stop drinking that bitter poison and forgive them as well? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube. Amun.